Oh, hey there. Want to play some Go? I sure do. Let's get into it. This is a game from a couple months ago, about 2 months ago, and the opponent that I was up against here, it was evenly matched, 9Q versus 10Q, pretty close, intermediate level. But my opponent was super unorthodox. He just played some random, big, widely spaced out moves, and I didn't know how to react. So let's look at it. Let's check it out. Black had the first move, took a corner. Sure. We each take a corner, as we typically do. Then a big space, a big play there in the middle, taking that big space in the middle. I instantly start attacking. I guess I don't want him to get that whole right-hand side. Black, unorthodox, completely ignores it. Jumps down here and extends. Like, that's too far to really jump, because I could play in here, and I could play here. Like, I could definitely split there. So far, like, this gap and this gap and this gap are massive. I can jump in any of those. So he ignored it, and I'm just going to continue to aggressively attack that corner. He ignores it again. Interesting. This is where I'm like, okay, he's playing big moves. He's not maybe interested in the battles here. So there we go. So I switch gears a little bit. I'm like, hey, instead of just attacking this one stone, trying to get a few points, I'm going to take a big move myself, but a safe one, because I'm only jumping a couple lines off my stone, pretty much guaranteeing that corner will be mine, right? How does black respond here? Okay, so that's a more sort of conservative, traditional maybe move. Maybe not conservative, traditional. Because what he's trying to do, he's trying to box these two in, right? I can certainly kind of turn the corner and split here. I can come up this way or slide underneath or whatever. But he's effectively created a nice little space between this stone and this stone. Realistically, I'm probably not going to jump in there. With like one more play, he'll get that one probably sealed up. Maybe that one with one more play, that one. Like a couple moves, and this whole bottom right-hand corner is kind of on lockdown. So what do we do next as white? All right, we push around the top. I don't mind that. We're attacking the weaker stone. We're taking the bigger territory with the corner. So I like that. So in theory, we'll get this corner. With one more play, we'll get this corner, and we already have that corner. So that's 3 corners to his 1, but he is doing better in terms of territory. But again, those are widely spaced out, and I can attack those for the moment. So what does black do now? This is, look at that play. So this is kind of the the strategy that sets up the rest of the game, right? In the first, what are we? We're 13 moves in, and black's clearly indicating what he's going to do here, right? He wants this. And then he'll probably try and jump in up here, and maybe try and fight for the middle. But he's clearly saying he wants this territory. And with that play right there, he's done a really nice job of... It's a loose framework, but he has created a framework, right? If we just kind of link these up. There is space for me to potentially attack in here, right? Like, these are kind of the lines he's created for himself. Like, maybe that one too. But none of them they're big, but they're not massive. I think the most obvious one that I could attack still would probably be here at Q3, maybe here at R7. Theoretically, I could jump into one of these and kind of run out this way as well. And there are, some spots in here, but anywhere I jump in there, I'm behind enemy territory, enemy lines already. So I'm sort of behind the 8 ball wherever I jump in. Could jump in here too. Like, I could split these, but it's tight, and it might come down to having to do it. I might not have a choice in a little while if I'm falling behind. So what do we do? I actually don't remember. It's kind of fun playing these games back because I don't exactly know what I did. Looking at it now, what would I do? I'd be tempted to do a similar move to what he's doing. Maybe take this corner, E17, maybe push off a line or two, maybe come out here, or maybe pressure this stone. I don't know, something on that top I can see makes a lot of sense. What did I do? Okay. Like I said, this game's only 2 months old, so I'm still playing the same way. I came off a couple lines here, sealed up that corner, safe move, but it buys me a lot of territory. It seals up that corner 100%. So now I got 2 basically on lockdown. This one's on lockdown. I got 3 corners. First, he's got more territory as black, but he's super spaced. I can, against a an opponent that's roughly the same strength as me, maybe a little better, maybe a little worse, if I can get up to this edge, right, I might be able to force my way in, you know, get a little sneaky and attack these stones and just encroach on that space a little bit so he doesn't get the whole thing captured, but we'll see how it pans out. And how does black respond next? This is important. The beginning part of this game is super critical, and it's unusual the way that he's played this out. Like, he's played no stones beside each other. The closest he's got is this one, and they were moves and moves apart. Pretty interesting style. Unusual, and kind of caught me off guard. I specifically remember this. I'm like, don't come across people that play like this very often. So, interesting play there. I don't love that for him because he's got the big chunks already. I would jump in the middle here, in the middle up here, but he's trying to force his way left. Sure. So we had a little battle down there. He seals me up. He didn't get a whole lot with that. I got a forcing move there, which he didn't take. He didn't react to. So he's giving me this stone. And yeah, take it if you want. Completely ignored that and then played up here, which this move I like a lot because you can see the shape that he's taking. Now that he's got a couple here and a couple here, like, this is pretty strong. That's 4 stones strong. There's a cutting point, but realistically, I'm never going to get in there. And now he's got this stone up here, and you can just see the shape of his territory has changed from like this corner, kind of swooping, to now it's like, oh, I'm coming up and over. Like, he just captured this whole triangle. I mean, didn't capture it, but that's what he's signaling that he wants to capture, right? Like I said, I can still push in this way. I can still push in this way. I'll probably still jump in the middle, and there's enough space to do that. But if he gets a handful more moves like that, then I could be in trouble. So I take a big move myself. I like that. Nice response. It pressures this stone. There's a little bit of influence, right, on this stone. It's forcing it that direction, but it's also signaling for me, hey, with 1 or 2 more moves, I'm going to try and take this whole left-hand side of the board. Oof, another big move. Just like massive chunks of framework and territory by black, right? Like, now he's going all the way up here and saying, hey, this is now my territory. And he's trying to say he wants all this, but like massive gaps, right? The space between this stone and this stone, like, you can push in there, but he's doing an okay job. I mean, against a stronger opponent, I think this guy would get demolished, but he's a little stronger than me, and it might work out for him, right? So now I take another big move for myself. I like this, saying, hey, I want the whole top, I want the whole left. We'll fight over this nonsense in the middle that you're trying to do here. With another big move, just like back to back to back to back. This is wild. Look at the space, but now look how much harder it is. I was pointing out this gap here, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I can just dive in here. But right where he placed that stone, it's starting to prevent that, and it's also linking up to this stone. So it's like, hit the outline. Let me just redraw that. The outline of his territory, if I don't get to encroach right now, is like this. Plus, he can still jump in, you know, up here somewhere, over here, to over here. This is wide open. Like, he's got almost half the board already if he captures that. So I'm really going to have to eat into this edge, right, that he's trying to set. The whole crux of this game, in terms of white winning, in terms of me winning, is going to try and push in through that line and kind of push it back so that instead of being out here, it's, you know, it's coming back here, it's coming back again, and I just want to capture this space and this space. We'll see. There we go. We're aggressive with that next move. We're move 26. We're jumping in behind enemy territory, enemy lines, and saying, I'm going to attack this. You're too spaced out. You only have 3 stones in this whole bottom right-hand corner. I can try and exploit that. What's he do? He's going to take the corner for himself. Sure. I try and peel in, try and pinch in underneath. No, and already, I probably should have tried to push up. I think, I'm going to back it up. This one, I probably should have played something more up here to give me the option to push out instead of trying to get, or maybe even over here and push left. I've maybe hamstrung myself a little bit down here. Can't push out. I think it's going to be tough to get eyes in here. Maybe. Oof, I abandoned that. I think I should have kept going there because I need 2 more plays, but I can... Oh, no, I can't seal this up. This is dead. This group is dead. That's why I abandoned it. I can play here, and I can... Like, he can play here and force me back, and I end up having to play here. I can only get 1 eye down there. That whole group's dead. My attempt at jumping into that corner completely failed. All it did was kind of solidify his territory and really brought kind of the unattackable outline of his territory to like maybe like this is kind of even over to here now. Like I can't really attack that now. Like where am I going to jump in now? In here somewhere? Maybe here and try and push this way and sneak into a spot here, threaten that cutting point. Realistically, I'm not going to go in here. Maybe I could throw in here. This is just... They're so spaced out, but he's got enough of them now that it's going to be tough to work my way in there. Anyway, moving on. Oh, look at that. What was my last play? I basically tried to do what he did. Take a nice bit, instead of like coming around that corner, I'm going to cut that corner. And actually, I really like that play. Taking a page out of his book and doing a very similar kind of thing. But then black does exactly what I should have been doing. And this is, I think, the learning moment for this game. What we should take out of it, what you should take out of it, what I'm definitely taking out of it. When you have these super spaced out opponents that are, they're all over the place, big gaps in between them, maybe it doesn't make sense to try and jump into the middle, right? Maybe we shouldn't jump in here, Maybe we should be attacking those stones directly, making it more of a battle right off the bat. Like I could attack the stone by playing here, and that gives me the option, if he wants to try and cut me off and circle me with his stones, and I can loop in. But if he doesn't do that, he plays it safe, I can loop out and connect up, and I've gotten my foot in the door to break into his giant territory, right? So I think this is exactly what I should have been doing. And lesson learned for next time. If I play someone like this again, that's how I would play it. Like long before I got to this point where they have this half a board all spaced out with like 10 stones, I'd be attacking those much more aggressively, like directly attaching to that stone and then falling off from there. And you can see how like maybe you do the same thing. Maybe you attack 2 stones with back-to-back moves and work those together. So instead of trying to take these 2, for example, I got this stone and I got this stone. I want to jump in that space, right? There's enough space in there to live. The immediate thought is to go here at, what's that, L7, and then whatever, branch out from there, kind of as needed, whatever. I don't think that's the right approach. With that much space, you could attack this stone or this stone, and sort of vice versa order, it doesn't matter. But you could attack it directly. Then what's he going to do? He's going to maybe push down, he's going to push up. He might try and sort of come around the, like, Hane. Is that a Hane with 1 stone? I'm not sure, but... Put 2 stones on your 1 stone, but then you can jump off and do the same thing against this stone here. So then you'd end up having a white stone here, you have a white stone here, and maybe they're in a little bit of trouble because you can Hane them, but then they can work together. Instead of just having one off by itself in no man's land, he can push it whatever direction he wants, and whatever direction he does push it, I'm going into his territory no matter what because I'm completely encircled to begin with. That would give me the opportunity to kind of form, instead of jumping in the middle, you're forming 2 kind of outside walls, right? You have a wall here and a wall here, and then you're using that, you effectively captured that space in the middle. If I had this stone and this stone, he could theoretically jump in the middle, but in practice, until he does that, I kind of have that space. It's not necessarily captured, but it's kind of within my territory, my control, at least a little bit. As opposed to 1 stone where you're just in no man's land and you're just running in whatever direction forever for your life until you get killed off. So that would be a strategy. Maybe that's even too far, like going here to here. You could do a similar thing, maybe even by not even attaching, but like playing on the shoulder. Maybe you attack this stone by playing just above it, and then you do a similar thing here, and then you have the option, now you have 2 basically connected, and you'd have the option to run underneath and threaten this cutting point, or run up this way and maybe attack that stone. And you could see how that a strategy again would work maybe here and here. And then you're effectively cutting off this stone, and it's in trouble now because it's sandwiched against this one. Actually, I like that, because you're already using your existing stones against this stone. That would actually be a much stronger play. Or you can play shoulders, you can play a shoulder here and a shoulder here. And then you've effectively captured that space, or at least influenced that space. It's kind of within your territory. And then you can jump up if you need to connect up to your group up here, and then you can push in too. So lesson learned. That's how it should have gone. And I can fly through the rest, because that was kind of what I wanted to get at. There's not a lot of big moves left here, to be honest. And I won't spend a whole... I thought it was a big move, jumping in. So this is exactly what I was talking about. Instead of jumping in the middle, I kind of have this framework, right, of 5 or 6 stones here, and there's a gap right in the middle. He did sort of jump in the middle, but it's also specifically attacking this one stone, right? You can see that relationship on the shoulder, and I probably will respond. Actually, I might not respond with that stone. I might respond more like here, 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 which is what would have been nice for him to do, right? He responds to his kind of inside territory and maybe leaves a stone kind of cast off, and effectively you take the outline of his territory and you pull it back. Whoops. You pull it back, right? So then you kind of exclude that stone. All of a sudden, all that space is up for grabs again. So that's what he's doing. What did I do? I'm going for the capture. Looks like I'm getting aggressive. Oh man, he did it again. Exact same thing. I have one stone up here on an island, huge gap here, and he attacked it directly. Pinch him off, but then look at that. He goes on a bit of a run, attacks my single stone, bam. He's going to get eyes up there. That's what I should have done to him. He was playing a different game, an unusual game from a lot of the opponents that I've played. So the rest, honestly, not as important. Just looking here. Here's a last-ditch effort. It's actually a much longer game, but I'll maybe just look at the highlights now because we're already 17 minutes in. Tried to cut here, or threatened to cut there, and that gave me the opportunity to bounce off. He's got to respond. I bounce off. Probably not going to work. Maybe I can kill something down there. Maybe there's hope in here, right? I'm threatening here at least. Nah, probably not. I get one kill. Not going to have an eye, though. Yeah, that's going to be toast. That's dead. Threaten. I was close, right? Like I almost had an eye in here. I was threatening these guys, and I was threatening this group, but I don't think it ever really materialized. And oh, touche! I take that back. What happened here? I did get some eyes there, so we're pushing it here. Okay, I mean, seems like a last-ditch kind of effort. Puts my group in Atari. Sure. All right, so this is interesting. That was a mistake on his part. He's going for this kill of 3, not recognizing that I can kill this group off, whether he responds to it or not. Now, the fact that he didn't link this up, put him here. He goes into Atari with 1 here. But even if he links up, then I kill these 2 off, right, by playing there, because effectively that's his group. He's down to 1 liberty, kill him off. So little short-sighted on his part. Maybe just give me like a glimmer of hope, because now this group is probably going to be alive. I got an eye here. I can get another eye in there. But realistically, I think I'm probably well behind at this point. Let's check the score. Oh, I'm not that far behind. The computer thinks blocks up by 2 points. That's actually pretty close. I guess because this is just so unsettled, it's not really decided in there. Maybe there too, right? So a lot of stuff still up for grabs. I don't know if this game ended up being close or not, but Black's getting aggressive with some plays there. We fight him off, sure. A couple little kills here and there. Fighting in the middle now. This is more endgame type stuff. There's like another 100 moves, so I'm just going to skip through this nice and fast. I don't think there's any groundbreaking stuff. I really wanted to highlight those big moves early in the game. And how I could have handled that much more effectively, for sure. A little kill there, nice. Getting the odd kill here and there. Honestly, I think if I got a better start, I probably could have beat this guy. Because I'm getting a couple kills, little nibbles. He's got he got big bites of the board, and I just got little nibbles. But sometimes that's how she goes. Yeah, super aggressive fights in the corners. He's trying to win something out of nothing. All right, so at the end, wow, captures were pretty even. Black killed 29 of my stones. I killed 28 of his. What was the final score, though? Black by 30. Ooh, that's a strong win on Black's part. And you can see this corner in the bottom right, this is where he had that framework built up. And it pretty much worked out for him. I did get a nice little kill here and won that back. Otherwise, you can see if I didn't get that white group, like this whole bottom right-hand corner, this whole triangle, that would all been his, right? Like, and that's not quite half the board, but it's close. And that was just with that big, massive framework with those big jumps, big spaces, big moves. So kudos to Black. Apparently they've deleted their account, so I can't give you a shout out, but it was a fun game. I think a frustrating game, but fun nevertheless. And I learned something, so I can use that in the next match when someone tries to pull one over on me with some ridiculously huge moves. So anyway, we'll wrap it up there. 30 points, big loss, but at least we got something out of it. So that'll do it for today. We'll wrap it up there. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you stuck around, this is kind of a fun one. I feel like this is a pretty good video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up or leave me a question down in the comments. Hardly anyone watches these, so I'll get back to your comment. That'll do. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go.